Yo, welcome to the Flex Zone. It's your man, it's your boy, it's your host, your friendly reminder, Jay Henson. I'm here with my friend. We've connected a long time ago. Sari Mahabir. We connected a long time ago in this community. You know what? I think that is one of the best things that we could have done is join these podcast communities. So we are here to educate y'all on some things that you need educating on. Education is the key. Education is the key. And she's going to share some insight with us that's going to help myself and you all. So the one thing that I want to share before we start, you always have to pay for what you don't know. The title of this show is Listen. That's the title that we're going with. So you have to listen to what she's about to put into our head and educate us on so we can have a better understanding of what's going on out here in the tech world, the marketing world, and everything else that she has going. How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. It's a blessing to be here finally. And
Yeah.
yes, just to even share just a little bit of what I know. And if it can help one person,
Yeah.
then I've done my job.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll help somebody because what's going on now in the internet world is everybody is interested in finding out ways to grow and advance. But the ways that I would say we because myself, even being a part of the payment process through Meta platforms, it's still so many things that I lack the understanding on. And so many other people, you can see these people doing these things and pushing and promoting, but until we are fully educated and have the full understanding of how to market and promote our brand and our product, then we're gonna continue to lose. We'll always end up on the back end. So you are a remote producer who and helps people to be better at what they do.
Yes. So my team and I, the agency that I own, we give back time to entrepreneurs because it takes a lot to do the social media,
Yeah,
create the post, create the content, do the copywriting, look at the analytics, what's working, what's speaking, what's not. And then if you want to have a podcast or a live streaming show, you know how it goes.
yeah,
There's this tech setup, there's getting your guests ready, there's
yeah,
even finding a guest, then converting it, especially if you have a live streaming show, converting that into a podcast, getting the clips so you can draw people from social media to your show. That takes time. And there is a statistic out there that most shows that start only last about 8 to 12 episodes. So if
yeah,
you have lasted a year or you've lasted as long as I have, which is, I feel like the dinosaurs now, but 3 years and
yeah,
beyond, you have really, you're in a top percentage because not
yeah,
everybody's there. And you can give up very easily. I
yes,
know because clients tell me all the time, I just don't have the time. I don't see the return. I don't know why I should be doing this. But how do you stay top of mind? I read a post recently. There was we all know the smartwatches or the Apple watches.
yeah.
We see the functionalities. But there was actually another watch called Pebble. And Pebble was actually had a longer battery life, had more features,
Wow.
but they did not last because nobody knew about them.
Yeah,
Nobody heard about them. Nobody understood their brand. We all know Apple, whether we like them or not. We know Apple
yes,
because they have invited us to be a part of their journey and their brand.
yeah,
So this is what live streaming, posting, podcasts, doing in-person workshops does, is being able to build those relationships so that you can be remembered. I don't always get all the clients, but
yeah,
they do remember me. Whenever I say, well, I'm having an anniversary show, 3 years, they're just so impressed. They're like, whoa, you're still doing it after
yeah,
all this
yeah,
time? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, and even those people who don't see what I do,
Yeah.
They do respect that it's work,
Yes.
the commitment, because this is commitment to show up for 3 years, still going live, still getting guests, being able to share their story.
Yes.
That is not easy. You
It's
would want to
not.
give up, burn out.
Yeah.
I had another show with a host. We weren't in alignment and having to let that go. But I still
Wow.
have one of my shows. I wish that person the best. I mean, you learn things through a show. You learn
Yeah.
things through experiences from others. I mean, I want to ask you, what was something that was eye awakening from a guest that you heard that you implemented in your own life?
Um, I would tell you this. I'm glad you asked that because I reflect on this almost every show since. I was interviewing Danielle Kettlewell from the Olympics, and she was telling a story, and she got so emotional on the show. It was I'm a guy, and I'm not one that really gets. I didn't cry anything, but the thing was, she shared a moment as to where when she was in the tunnel, I think she was saying, and they was doing the chant, Ozzy, Ozzy, Ozzy. Well, they was doing the chant because she's from Vancouver, and that moment when you realize it's this is like it's here. All the work, all the blood, all the sweat, all the tears that you have put into that one moment is defined right then. And you get a chance to live that, and everything that you believed, everything that you thought, everything that you worked towards manifests in that moment. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to this podcast, there to even make it a year, thinking back when I was telling you about talking to Tyler, and he was telling me a year and a half, 2 years, we'll be able to merge into this and that. But we hadn't even made a year, and we are streaming in almost every part of the United States and so many other regions of the world. So that's like it's really an eye opening thing for me as to what can happen when you really, really put your best foot forward. You know, that's that's the motivation for me. That's the manifestation of what I believe and what I hope for as an individual, and to see so many people that surrounds you with support and love. And every time that you want to give up, when you have so many people, and I watch some of your content, and I saw the people that you had talked to and helped, and the way that they respond to, it's at you really pay for what you don't know, and you have an education, you have an experience in helping people to get past those things that it's so easy right now to be paid from social media. So easy. So if you are not listening to this advice, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is you've interviewed 100 entrepreneurs.
Actually, I've interviewed not 100. I've actually interviewed over close to 300,
Wow.
and I've been on over 300. I've gone live over 300 times.
Wow.
And to your point, if you're not ready to receive it, it's not going to make sense. So I was not ready to give up some of the shows that I had,
Yeah.
only because it was at the time it was filling my time,
Yeah.
and it was giving me ability to connect with someone and share a story. But later, when I started to let go, or some things, God has its way of closing that door for you,
Yeah.
then things started to make sense. And some of the guests that I've had help me, it was their own experience. They said, well, I was in business with someone, and I knew at one point we were not in alignment, but I kept going and hoping it would change.
Yeah.
And that's when I had that aha moment. Yeah, That's what I was doing with one of the shows. So when it came time to actually stand up and say it would be better for both of us to go separate ways, that it was not an easy decision, but I look back and I'm like, I'm glad that I did.
Yeah.
It didn't, it's not that it ended very beautiful, but it all also ended with, I know that they have something in big in store, blessings coming their
Yeah.
way, just like I am. Because now my time is more focused. Like if you're listening to this and you're wondering, well, how does this have to do with live streaming or what she does? Time management is huge as an entrepreneur. Where are you spending time? Are you growing your business or are you running away from your business?
Yeah.
And the activities that you do. It's great to have a podcast and a live streaming show. However, you could have too many like I did and it's not doing you good.
Yeah.
And you could just do one and it makes a difference for your business.
Yeah. Yeah. I just cut one of my shows. I actually had three, and I felt like just like what you said, I felt like it would be so much better because it's hard. The one thing that I had to come to grips with myself was it hadn't even been a year. Don't A lot of people want to rush it. Once you see that the results, you see some results. Oh, it's working. It's working. No, no, no. Keep your pace. Because if you're getting results at that pace, the only thing we have to do is grow. We have to expand, evolve. But you can rush and you can get to somewhere you shouldn't be at a time that you shouldn't be in. And then you'll end up reverting back to, and that's when the remorse sets in. That's when the self understanding, the self education sets in. When you make yourself fail, the advice that you all are getting right now, I don't care where you are in the world, you have to listen because the most important thing in the world is you pay for what you don't know. When I first started, I had to pay Tyler because I didn't know how to run a podcast. I didn't know how to publish or none of that. So when I started the research, it wasn't a bad part. It wasn't bad at all. But I understood how to do what I needed to do to make this podcast get to where it needed to go. Tyler, on the other hand, has 40 or 50 people that he's managing. I'm just one in his bunch. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to what we do and how we do it and the reviews, the results that we get, good or bad, critique me. Tell me if I'm doing something that you don't like or that's not working for you because my podcast is for everybody. It won't reach everybody. But if you're receptive and if it's something that you can get out of it, then listen. Listen. So what I want to ask you right now is what are what are some of the components of expertise that you use to build your brand, to build your platform, your shows? What is that one thing that keeps you going? 3 years I hadn't even made a year. I'm hoping when you said 3 years, I'm like, I'm hoping. What is that one thing that keeps you going, that keeps you interested? That even in moments where we get sad, where we want to give up, what is that thing that pushes you?
It goes back to why I started, and it was placed on my heart from before. So it's not like it was just like, okay, today I'm going to go do this. It was literally placed on my heart in 2019 when I started my business. The first business was a virtual assistant, and I just started it because I knew that I worked a 9 to 5 and I can't leave that to my daughter if something were to happen.
Yeah.
And about 8 months prior to that, her father had passed away and he didn't leave anything.
Oh wow.
And I'm all that she had or has. And so the only thing I knew was start a business. I worked in oil and gas. Things could happen. Tomorrow I could lose my job, but at least I knew this business would carry me over.
Yeah.
And that's why I started the business. And it was told you need testimonials. And that's when it was placed on my heart. Hear their journey.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, this is back in 2019. Nobody's talking about you can have a whole studio. I was seeing studios, equipment. How do you do it?
Yeah.
And then when COVID hit, 2020, I'm seeing Ed Milet, Lewis Howes Gary Vee going live on Instagram, TikTok. Well, not TikTok as much, but I saw them on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and I was sitting there thinking, how can I do that? But then when I saw my friend going live on Instagram, I said, that's it. And
Yeah,
that's what has been the driving factor, regardless of how much fear I had, how paralyzed I was to speak. It didn't matter. I wanted to bring a spotlight to others. Your
yeah,
voice matters, your story matters. Because if you are not sharing it, you never know who is on the other end that needs to hear that. When I
exactly.
and I wanted to bring up when I first started, I was getting accolades, meaning people were in my DMs, people were reaching out, emailing, texting, sharing how impactful my show was. And I love my best friend. I mean, he's not my best friend, but I say he's my best friend, Joel Osteen.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
in one of his services, he talked about when you begin a journey, especially if this is what God has in store, he makes sure that he puts reinforcements to make you to keep going. But at some point, you will get where you will no longer hear it.
yeah,
You will no longer get somebody telling you you're doing a good job. You'll get it once in a while when that doubt starts to creep in. And that's how this journey has been.
yeah.
So if I was to fail in the beginning, that is what I needed to learn.
That's right.
If I needed to rush and grow it exponentially only to learn later that that's not the way to do it, because we don't know what our bigger what's really for us. We
Right.
just know we got to do this, go through this experience, that experience, and then we'll be able to help others. I look in my 3 years, what I always ask, like, why am I not bigger than I am? But then I think, no, I'm more about getting to know people. I'm more
Yes.
about building the relationships and having lasting relationships.
Yes.
So when things start to roll, like I had a 5-day video challenge, the person who signed up for my high ticket is somebody who's been watching me for 6 months. We cultivated a relationship.
Yeah.
And because I'm already used to that, cultivating relationships, I'm all about the long game. It was crazy waking up one day to your bank account negative to the following day, and it's a whole different story.
Yeah. Yeah.
That faith, that conversation with faith, that whole, like, you got to go through certain experiences to understand why it all came together.
Yeah.
And when you woke up and you're like, oh my gosh, this is negative, what do I do? I do know what I can do. I can go live, I can post content, I can
Yes.
reach out, it will work out. And it did.
Yes. That's amazing because you know what I was when you're doing these shows, you know, it's so many avenues to go. I was like, you know, I even though I'm a Christian, I was, you know, it's always that thing that toggles in your mind, like, you know, you could talk about God, but what do people want to hear? I want everybody to be clear on this. I want every I don't care where you are in the world. I've seen so many when I was looking at my analytics last night, I've seen so many places outside of the United States and so many different parts of the country. I respect what everybody believes, but nothing can take me away from what I believe in the God that I serve. Nothing can take me away from the faith that I have, the belief that I have, and the God that I serve. And what you're saying about faith and those moments where that one day solidifies everything that you've believed, every tear that you've cried, every moment that you had that self doubt. That's natural. We are humans. That's those moments are gonna come. But if you have a dream that you have been working on, if you have an idea that you stage play, small business, a lemonade stand, I don't care. Take that first step. You have to believe beyond what you could see with the natural eye that God knows every plan that he has for your life. And sometimes even when you stray away from the plan that he has for your life, he will open doors for you to lead you back to to
Yeah,
that plan.
he does. He does. And if anybody's like, how does this all relate? It does, because when you start off in your show, in your journey of your podcast, at first you're going to get all of those accolades, but then it gets quiet.
Yes.
It's real quiet.
Yes.
And that's when you're like, okay, is this really working? Is this really the topics that you want to hear? And
Yeah.
that's when you start to pivot and you have to start developing those relationships. And
Yes.
one of the best ways is obviously posting about your show on your platform,
Yeah.
whether it's TikTok, Instagram. These are the two most, I mean, you can use LinkedIn and you can use Facebook, but when it comes to organic, super high reach, TikTok is one of those.
Yeah.
And so is Instagram, and you can make that just your driver to your pod. You don't have to talk about your business because your podcast talks about your business, but you can use your Instagram and your TikTok, and you can see who's liking the content.
Yes. Yes.
Start a conversation with them, get to know them,
Yeah.
ask them questions. That's how you'll know, because every show starts and they go up the hill. It's like a roller coaster. You're going
Yeah.
up. But
Yeah.
then when you come down, then it's like, now what do I do? That's when you start to build, and that's when you start to see differences in even the way you show up to your show.
Yeah.
Also, the questions that you ask, the
Yes.
conversations. My show isn't driven heavily by faith, but faith is what helps entrepreneurs get through the seasons, because there is the season of learning to be an entrepreneur. There is the
Yeah.
season of learning to be the entrepreneur. Then there's the season of scaling. Then there's the season of loss. There's the season of betrayal. There's the season of
Wow.
that stress of, okay, when you are growing so fast.
Yeah.
Because remember, overnight successes, it didn't happen overnight. It took a few years to get there.
Yeah.
Then there comes a whole different level of challenges or experiences, as I look at it, that helps you. And you bring that to your content. I just posted recently on TikTok and LinkedIn. I talked about, it's not always that you don't like the way you look or sound. It's
Yeah.
that facing yourself in the camera in the middle of not actually not having money in your bank account is showing negative,
Yeah.
or that you see a failure, or that you had a failed launch. That is the hardest thing to talk about in front of the camera, or to create content and say, I've got 3 tips to help you, but what you see is so much more, and it's so painful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the things that you start to bring out. That's why we love Mel Robbins or Tim Grover or Tony Robbins or Grant Cardone, because they've seen that, they've
Yeah.
experienced that. And now they're just like, look, this is the real deal. It's no cookie cutter. There's no fast way to success. It takes
Right.
time,
Right.
but you got to face the pain. And that's something that I've learned even in my 3 years.
Yeah.
I wasn't always talking about it, but it took me time. But once I started to, I really understood why faith comes into the conversation for an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Even though the show is not focused on faith,
Yeah.
faith has gotten all of these individuals, whether they believed in Allah or Hinduism or
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
or whatever it is that they believe in. It's
Exactly.
what got them through.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
you'll notice that journey as you go through. So going back to that number one question you asked, what keeps me going is that
Yeah.
story. Our story is what keeps us going. It keeps me going.
Yeah. That's amazing that to be able to articulate and tie in components that creates these shows and these stories, and that keeps the storyline. We're able to stick to the storyline, because the thing that we want you to do, the most important thing here is the reason why we're here is for you to listen. And it does not matter. Just like she said, it does not matter who you. We are not. We don't have the capability to judge on a level to say what you should or what you shouldn't do as to who you serve or what you serve or why you serve. Faith, faith. When you believe to the point where I believed. If I did not believe, I wouldn't have never bought anything that's in this studio right now. I wouldn't have purchased any of this. I would have kept standing in front of my cell phone and doing YouTube videos. That's why I would have stayed at. But I believe that what I was doing with work, I believe that I would be able to connect with people that would be able to help educate. It's a multicultural platform. It's not about what color you are. It's a multicultural, because that's what love is. That's what God is. So when it comes to your brand, when it comes to your show, when it comes to whatever you're doing, whatever you believe, whoever you believe in, make sure it's stamped and approved. Make sure that that the faith that you have is defined by what people see out of the work that you are putting into your brand and your product. So you have done. I think you're number 8. I think you're the 8th person to have interviewed and started that camera up 300 times or more. What is some of your, because you have to have a passion. It goes beyond what you like doing or what you enjoy doing, and you're an entrepreneur. I still go to work. I I still go to work because like I'm the man in this house, and I have to make sure that everything. I can have faith, but you also have to have common sense. Some people can jump out and still be able to manage. That's where we're trying to get. That's why she's sitting on that side of the camera, because she's where I'm trying to get. So when you listen, my idea of retirement is not 70 years old. I'm 45. I would like to retire in 5 years.
You look young for 45.
Yeah. I'll be 46 in September. And
Ooh.
yeah, and I would like to be my own boss all the way around. No cutting corners, no part-time, solely completely my own boss. What are some of your marketing strategies that you use? I've watched some of your reviews and some of the people that you've helped. What are some of your marketing when it comes to marketing and promoting the brand, the product? I think you spoke on it earlier. But if you can just use some of your main, when it comes to TikTok, when it comes to I'm not so sure about Snapchat. I don't know, but I know Facebook and Meta platforms, I'll say, and TikTok. What are some of your marketing, promoting, or some of your ideas of getting people to call you or to inbox you?
You have to be clear on what you want to serve to others. Like, what is that problem that you're solving?
Yeah.
Right? You got to know what that is. Warren Buffett says it. If you can solve a pain point, a problem that someone has, you'll be a rich person.
Yes.
And that's just summarizing it. Because sometimes what we have to do may not be what we like to do.
Yeah.
I didn't fall into coaching entrepreneurs right off the bat. It took me a year later to figure out that I should be coaching others. I interviewed 100 entrepreneurs. And when I started working with a coach, that's when she asked, well, if you don't like your business as a virtual assistant, what do you have a passion for? And when I started talking about the show, and she asked me how many of that 100 did you help get on camera? Because remember, in 2020, not a lot of people were doing video or live streaming.
Right.
So I told her it was 40. And that's when she said, you need to start talking about that. And that's when I started posting on LinkedIn. I had a 9 to 5 at that time.
Yeah.
And 6 months later, I was laid off. But in that time, in my second business, I was making money. So when
Yeah.
I got laid off, instead of going and rushing to get a job, I actually said, you know what? I paid off everything. I betted on myself. I took the money that I had been saving and I paid everything off, and I just went full time as an entrepreneur. And it's been up and down. And I don't knock anybody who has a full time job and does this part time,
Yeah.
or has a business and does something part time, because it takes a while before money comes in. So if you're not talking about what you do because you're not clear on what you can offer, it becomes hard in the messaging. That's really what's important, is that marketing is all about testing. So your first 2 weeks, you I'll even rewind it even further. What are your goals?
Yeah.
Each month, each quarter, what are the goals that you are striving for your business? Is it that you want to just build visibility to who you are, get followers?
Yeah.
That content strategy is going to look different. If you want people to join your Facebook group or your email, what does that look like? Because you've got to know your end goal and work backwards.
Right.
Then when you put out content, I know many people are like, well, I want to go viral. You don't go viral. You go viral because the content that you're putting out, it's consistently saying almost the same type of message. And eventually it blows.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm not saying blows like in a bad way, but I mean, you just explode.
Yeah.
But that's because there is predictability. You know that this person's always talking about it. If you go to at least on my profile on LinkedIn, you'll get live streaming tips, video, how to get confident on camera. But then you go to maybe Sarah's page and she's just everywhere. You don't know what she does. It's
Yeah.
not clear.
Yeah.
And even in your DMs, you'll get people who will think that you are offering free services. And I want to dismiss the myth that you cannot post about your offers. Actually, don't post every day about your offer
Yeah.
unless you're in launch mode, but do mention, put out the offer, see how people respond, because you cannot understand what people are looking for if you never know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Here's where I'm talking about. Tomorrow, Flex Zone is going to be talking about doing a podcast course.
Yeah.
He's going to redo the recordings, or he's going to create the group, have the program offer, and puts it out, but nobody's interested. Why? Because you don't really know the pain points. You have to know the pain points and can your program address those pain points? Because
Right.
people will ask, objections will come. If you can't answer the objections before, you're going to get them on the call. You're going to
Yeah.
get them when nobody responds back to your offer. So your content has to be super clear what you do. You also have to be super clear on what are the pain points, because as you start posting content, you'll find out, okay, I don't like being comfortable on camera,
Yeah.
or I want to start a podcast, but I don't know what platform or equipment that I need, or what if nobody shows up to the show? What if what is the graphic? How should it look? These are things that if you don't ask, you'll never know. And
Right.
the only way you know is doing content. Create content, get in the DMs, doing polls, doing market research. And that all comes together. So when you do put out the offer, you may get no responses. You may get one response. But Alex Armazzi says it very well. He says, you got to put out that offer 100 times before
Yeah.
you say, that's not the offer.
Yeah.
But you can always tweak the offer, because how? Going back to the content.
Yeah.
If you choose to be on LinkedIn, you get the buyer on LinkedIn, they have at least 60,000 or more. If you're on Instagram, it's a little bit different. TikTok is different. And brands are always looking for people to represent them. So
Yeah.
if you are working a 9 to 5 and you want to get some money so you can work with a coach, represent a brand and start creating content for them so you can make money.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if you wanted to learn how and where to start, I would say first understand, what is your offer? What is that problem that you want to solve? And what is
Yeah.
that offer that you have? And then two is start doing some market research. Do polls.
Yeah.
You can do them on LinkedIn. You can do them on Facebook. You can do them in the stories of Instagram and on TikTok. Get people to respond to you so you can start creating that content. And when you start putting that content out and it starts to resonate, then you know
Yeah.
what can you create. So this is a long-term game. This is not something that you can have overnight. I'll
Yeah.
be honest. This is a long play. Like people did not I got my first paid client after 2 months of posting on LinkedIn. But let me rewind that even further. I had been going live for a year and some change before I got my first paid client.
Wow.
So I was not really in my alignment of my business.
Yeah.
So it was hard for me because I couldn't understand, who am I talking to? What is the problem that I can solve? And do I really want to do the work?
Yeah.
Versus when I started to speak about going live, getting comfortable on camera, it became so much clearer and easier. They found me because of a comment.
Yeah.
Literally, I got hired because they found me in a comment. They got in my
Wow.
DMs and said, I want to talk. I never believed that that could happen, but for a year and something, I was getting that.
Yeah.
And nobody was asking for my services. I had one person who asked. I was too, like, I was just like, no, I can't take the money because I didn't believe in my business.
Yeah.
And the second time around was a whole different story. I was like, yeah, this is how much I charge. This is my program.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, let's do it. If not, okay.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. I apparently I have um when it comes to, a lot of people don't know this, and this is why we want you to listen, because this is so vital. I just I had been going maybe 8-9 months before I saw money from the podcast, because the thing is, and I'm never, whenever I talk about how I started this podcast, I'm never downing or throwing shade at Chris or Tyler. The thing was, Tyler said that there weren't ways to be monetized through different platforms, which was true. But there are ways to be monetized through you knowing what you're doing through those platforms and
Mm-hmm.
where to be monetized at. So when it comes to in August, I don't know. I might have to talk to you when we get off here, because I have some people, but you are really, really good at this. I'm launching an educational platform as to where we would teach people about startup and just being paid from Meta platforms. Um, there are so many different avenues be to be paid from, or to have your Facebook and IG monetized, but you have to know what you are doing. There are so many ways. Like if you post a reel on Instagram and you use somebody else's music, you could post an original reel, but with somebody else's music, you cannot be monetized on that video. So you need to be educated on the marketing strategy, how to promote and how to put your product, your brand out there, as to where you are meeting the need of the people. They have to have a need for your brand or for your product in order for you to win and for them to benefit from your product. That's the way you meet those goals. That's how you go into this world, this business, not giving up on yourself, or not believing in yourself, or not having that faith to back up everything that you said. Because when you speak it out of your mouth and it goes into the atmosphere, it's out there. It's
Mm-hmm.
out there. And then it's up to you to God. God to us is deeper than God blessing me with a new car. No, you have to work. You,
Mm-hmm.
you have
You got to put in the work. He
you
will
got
get you the car, but you got to put in the work.
yeah. There are things that we need to know when it comes to our faith in God, our belief, and us, our individual existence. You're gonna hear me say that in every show and on every podcast. Your individuality, your existence in this world is wrapped around your mindset, your spirit, your soul, your heart, and how you interact with people in this world. Because the truth of it is, me and her, we need people in the business that we're in. So we have to first understand who we are. I can turn this camera off and go and abuse Tasha. Not saying that that's what I do. I don't do that. I don't believe it. I could turn this camera off and be any other. But the truth of it is, I have to be the same person when the camera is off as when the camera is on, because putting on a show for people, I cannot hide who I am from people, and God see what I do every day. So when it comes to your brand, when it comes to how you market, how you promote, learn, listen, and learn, because you can from this time to 20 years from now, you could still be doing the same thing and not getting anywhere because you're not around people, or you're not in contact with people. Her page is full of information. If you go on IG, Facebook, it's full of information. So at the end of this show, we're time be flying when you just when you be having a good time flying, time really be flying. But you can go to all of her information and unlock those doors that's been closed in your face. You're gonna get some no's. People gonna tell
Yeah.
you no. You know.
Absolutely, they'll say no. You can. I saw a video and I love the advice my friend said. Go start going places and ask for things. They're all going to say no to you, but you don't take that no to heart. You take that no to heart on a sales call, but if you have to convince somebody to purchase, they're not your client. They
Yeah.
weren't bought. You can answer the objection. You definitely can. But there is a difference when someone comes on the call and says, I'm ready to, what do I need to do? Give me the
Wow.
link.
Hold on.
I'm ready. Like
Oh,
there's a difference. Then there's the difference of, well, I just need to know a little bit of information
yeah.
because you didn't answer this. That's actually good data because now
Yeah.
you need, when you put out your content, you make sure you answer that objection. But
There,
then there are people, if you have to convince them,
I'm
it's not
stuck.
worth it.
I'm
It's
stuck.
not worth it.
I'm so
Mm-mm.
stuck from 10 seconds, 20 seconds ago. I'm stuck because I wanna go back. I wanna rewind because you said, and I hope y'all listening. This is why we are here. You said if you have to convince somebody to purchase, they are not your clients.
No.
So what I said about a minute and a half ago is, it's almost like that. Like they have to need what you are promoting. They have to the point to where if you have to convince them, it's almost like I used to sell vacuum cleaners for this company. I'm not gonna even say the company. I ain't gonna say it because it was horrible. And if y'all see this, I'm sorry. I always because so many people, I don't know who see this. I don't know who see this. If y'all see this, I'm sorry. It was horrible. It took so much to these were supposed to be amazing vacuum cleaners. They were supposed to be top of the line, amazing vacuum cleaners. But oh my gosh, it took so much. And I always thought I was the kind of person that could sell a bag of ice to an Eskimo. I just thought I had those kind of um skills when it comes to pushing product. But it was so hard to sell one of these. For one, the area that we were selling in was the areas that they picked to sell these vacuum cleaners in were high poverty areas. Listen,
Ooh.
listen to what I'm saying, because I don't want anybody to be offended or have a misunderstanding of what I'm saying. They were really, really high poverty areas that this company chose to sell these vacuum cleaners. So what they would do is they would get these vacuum cleaners and then they would lock the people into uh, a year and a half plan to pay them off. After first, they run their credit. Second, Most of the time, if you're in an area like that, they'll probably make 2 or 3 payments on them, and then they beating your door down to pick the vacuum cleaner up because over the next 4 months they hadn't received the payment.
Mm-hmm.
So now your credit is at risk. They want their vacuum cleaner back, and you have wasted at least $1,000. Be careful what you allow these people to lock you into. And what I'm saying is so conducive to what we're talking about, because people will lock you into situations that's beneficial for them, but not for you. So if that's the kind of deal you're getting, then is it something that you really need? If somebody's convincing you to purchase, is it something that you really need? Nobody has to tell me to go and buy soap every day. I need soap.
I
Nobody
hope
has to tell me to go make grocery every day. I need grocery. I look for Walmarts. So the information that we're giving you is bigger. What I get from this podcast is joy for me because I'm being able to share information with people. If I'm still going to work every day, don't pat yourself on the back. Thank you for listening. But you're it's not
there's nothing
about the
wrong. There's nothing wrong with going to work.
yeah.
I would say if you're going to work and not applying
If,
what you're listening to, don't be patting yourself on the back.
right. Right. Yeah, let me correct that. What I mean is I'm not the person that's that vacuum cleaner company. What we're giving you is information that's free. It's free information for you to get from one phase of life of trying to the next phase to where you're seeing results. So when it comes to what she said that was so deep and so dope to me is if people have to convince you to buy some. When it comes to my mama's birthday, Tasha's birthday, I would rather them to take money and buy what they like rather than me, because people can give you gifts that you don't like, but you'll take it because it's a gift. But when it comes to your need, when it comes to that's what ministry is. My dad was a pastor. And the one thing that I learned about ministry is ministry meets the needs. That's why you see food ministries and clothes ministries where people take stuff and they give to people. They give to people. So ministry is actually meeting the need, and that's what she provides. That's what this platform is for. It's to provide to you information that will help you. That will help you. So if I never received a payment, if I never got anything from Meta platforms, from this podcast, I will still get up every day and do it because this is what my passion is. It's what my passion is. So I hope that we are able to say something. I hope that we're able to give you some type of information that you can receive that will help you on your journey, because it's not easy. It's not easy. Three years, three
Yes,
years.
3 years. And Meta has not paid me, but my programs, my coaching services, my agency, that all has gotten paid because of the live streaming show and podcast. And I still give a lot away in my Facebook community. And I, I sometimes I get in trouble. I give too much away, but also at the same time, I can share with you, but are you going to take action?
Yeah.
If you're not going to take action, then that comes to what Flex was talking about, which is you if you want to work with a coach but you're not feeling an alignment with them, it does no service to either you or that coach, because you're in a
Yeah.
program that you don't want to be. I've had people who have paid to be part of my program and didn't really show up. And so now I kind of understand who I want in my program or not. I'm okay telling somebody, I do not want you in my program. I
Wow.
don't want your money.
Yeah.
It's not worth it to me.
What would be something that would come? What would bring you to that point to say to a person that you don't want them in your program? What are some of the things, or at least one?
One is that they're not going to take action and apply some of the teachings that they're getting. I
Yeah.
had a 21-day video challenge at the beginning of the year. I had someone who signed up and never posted because they wanted to only post on inside of a safe group. And I said, no, in order to get past that fear, you have to post. You have to post it online.
Yeah.
You don't know what your clients are looking for. And looking now, when I come back, if I ever do the 21-day video challenge, that will be one of the things. Are you comfortable to be posting on your profile? If not, this group is not for you because
Yeah.
you're not going to be posting in the Facebook community or the WhatsApp channel.
Yeah.
You got to be posting on your page.
Yeah.
So if you can't do that much, I don't want you.
Right.
I'm
Right.
just to that point because it's not about the money. It gets me mad because I'm like, why you want? Everybody needs the money, but it's like you just paid me so that you could just sit and do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just the way I feel. Not everybody agrees to that, but I have respect for the money. I have respect for the work that gets put into it.
Yes.
So if I have to walk away from something, I'll tell the person I got to walk away. Personally, in my program, I want you to succeed.
Yes.
I want to see that you got your first paid client or that you got asked to be on a podcast or people that you have not spoken to in years start reaching out, wanting to learn more from you.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear. Not your money, because
Yeah.
all that stuff will come. Blessings will come.
Yeah.
But your success, you deserve it. So
Yes.
give yourself a chance.
Yes. And whenever you see, um, I had one show where somebody said they had to stop me from talking. When she says she gets mad, it's not about getting mad at the person. That's the passion that you have. Because
Mhm.
what a lot of people don't see is what it takes to build a show, what it takes to I remember when I was doing the card for this show right here, doing the media card, and it take like I was at least 2 nights I was up to like 3 a.m. just trying to figure out what colors to put into the card to match what you had on and to create a card that would be attractive. So when we you see what's on the surface, but there are so many more components to these shows and these live streamings. And when you getting your paid clients, as she do really really good work. I've watched it. I wouldn't tell you nothing just because she's sitting right here. The results speak for itself. You could go see the reviews, look at the results that she get. The thing is, the it's almost like the almost like meta platform. If you get so many different perks, and even with YouTube, when you get 1,000 subscribers, they send you a plaque. And then it's so many benefits. But meta platforms, it's just a thing that a lot of people don't know. I didn't even know that I had money in my account for the longest. I had no idea that I had money from Facebook for the longest. Then I looked at when I saw it on Facebook. Then I ran to IG, and from there it was just like, okay, they give you advice on what to do. Download this app. You download that app, then they combine both platforms together. So when you post on one platform, you're able to get paid from both platforms if you know what to do and if you know how to market. And so that's whenever someone says they're selling or trying to get a person to purchase a subscription, trust me, we already know and understand some people gonna fly by it. It ain't for them. It does not offend me. It doesn't bother me in the least. But there are people, trust me, there are people that want to know this information. There are people that's meant for your time, that's meant for your purpose, that's going to benefit from what you are offering. If they say no, let them go. Don't be mad. Don't be offended. Just like she said, she's not going to waste her time on a person that's not. If you're not marketing, promoting, if you're not drawing people to you, then what are you doing? Why would she waste her time in trying to even create an avenue for you? Because that's a sign of laziness. Laziness, lazy people want people to enable them. They don't want you to tell them. They want you to be okay with no. When you get people that get up and grind every day, that get up and hustle every day, they look for hustling people. They look for grinders. They look for people who want it. They look for people who's looking for them. I look for people who, when I talk to people, the first thing I ask, do you listen to podcasts? Because if they don't
All
listen to
the
podcasts,
time.
oh,
I listen to other podcasts to make my podcast better, but I listen to other podcasts to elevate myself.
yes, yes, and that's what we do. We have to. I get into the mode where I download people's podcasts. Some people don't even know. I listen to it because guess what? We all, it's a circle, it's a community. Even on social media, I join podcast communities. I have apps that are strictly for podcasters. And that's what if you don't invest in yourself, I'm sure there are times that you probably could have been out eating dinner or spending time with your daughter and thing. But sometimes we sacrifice that time to make our platforms better, to make our craft better, to give you what you are looking for. And I hope that I do get a lot of good reviews. I do, and there's so many people that from Dr. Wells, from Chastity, from Danielle, from the people. Whenever someone says that they listen to the podcast and they got something from it, my job is done. Sometimes we do wish the whole world would, but sometimes it's just 10 people. Sometimes it's just 20 people. Sometimes it may be 5.
Mm-hmm.
5 people can tell 5 more people. So I'm never moved by the numbers. Somebody's listening.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm moved by. Somebody's listening. So I'm gonna let you close us out with whatever you got for us to close us out with, and then we'll wrap it up.
I want to share with everybody that, and there's so much, but really remember that you are important and your voice matters to
Yes.
somebody who needs to hear it. And whatever you decide to do, there is no microwave popcorn solution. It
Yes.
takes time. And you may not make money in your first year or second year or third year of your podcast, but be smart that you can make money in different ways.
Yeah.
You can definitely find a solution. You can create a freebie. You can create a program from it. You can do so much, but just be open.
Yeah.
That's something that I had to learn. Be open. Don't get caught up, because the moment you start to compare, that's when things go down. So share your story. Be in it for the long run.
Yeah.
And be open to what is coming, the lessons, the blessings. Just be open to it, and you will see how much and how far you can go. So if you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I also have a free Facebook community that's all about helping you get confident on camera. The community is super supportive. I do weekly challenges where I ask a question so that you can go live in the group or create a video, just so you just get used to it. I have seen success stories where people who were very shy to do a video or go live and now are going live and posting videos on their profiles.
So do you have anything going on now? Any challenges or your
Right
any
now,
promotions?
right now, I am going to be in. When will this be posted?
We will probably be streaming in the morning.
Tomorrow morning?
I will tell you this. Maybe it'll probably be tonight.
Tonight?
Around I'll say about 10:30, maybe maybe
Okay.
9:30 your time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I should have asked that before we start. Because I do have an in-person workshop that I'm doing in Toronto, Canada. So if you're in the Toronto, Canada area, we would love for you to come. It's myself and 2 other amazing creators. There is a social media manager. She is a guru at what she does, and she's going to be sharing a portion in the workshop about how to grow organically,
Yeah.
marketing strategy. Then the other person is a genius in video sales letters and how you can use that content to create ads. And then I'm going to be teaching all about live streaming and podcasting, However, if you are not in the Toronto area, but you still want to join in, you can join in virtually. So I'll make sure that you get that information. And even if you're just listening and you can't get to the link right away, it's socialsummitseries.com.
Yeah.
And you can go there and get your ticket because we're going to be sharing a lot of value packed information. You hear that all the time, but you will walk away out after the 2 days with actionable steps to implement and use in your business.
Yeah. Wow. So, I mean, and now I can have it streaming on Spotify. Um, I can have it streaming on Spotify here within the next hour, I think, but the other platforms, it would probably be, I don't know. I think,
Because I
through,
know when I schedule for my client, I schedule it at 5 in the morning and it posts at that time. Like when I wake up at 5, I wake up at, crazy times.
yeah.
It's there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, whenever I'm done, I like to this is what I like about Riverside. I'm always shout out Riverside. I saw they like something on IG last week and I followed them out. This is what I love about Riverside FM. Thank you to the editing team. Whenever I have a technical issue with sound or whatever, they are right on it, fixed. So I appreciate the editing team and everybody. But um, I can always it's 11 o'clock my time. I can once I do my editing, I can always drop it right on Spotify right then. But the other platforms, it does. I like to run through different editing steps and other sound steps, and that would be. I'm sure by 9:30 your time.
Well, that's fine. I was just like, oh, some of the episodes I've been on, they were like, oh, we're not going to post it until August. I was like, okay, so I didn't want to say.
Oh no. We get it. We get sometime it take 4 or 5 hours. With editing and all of that. But
Yeah, my editing for my client right now is super simple because they're older. But as we progress in the episodes, I'm starting to add a little bit more
yeah,
because again, it's just a progression, right? Like anything is a
yeah,
journey. So that's why for that I do take out it's a live show, so there's some editing in there.
yeah,
But as far as just I know what you're talking about. You have the intro, there's a specific outro, then there's like an in between
yeah,
where
yeah,
we're not there yet. We're getting there. This episode I had uploaded for him was, thank you for listening in. If you found this really helpful, leave a review because that's where we're at. We're at the leave review campaign.
yeah.
That's what we're doing right now. Leave
Wow.
a review, leave a review.
Yeah.
So I get it. I completely get it. But no, I asked the question going back. Some of the people from Need a Guest, they're like, no, I won't post this until August. So I was
Oh,
like,
that's
okay.
now we now I am moving into that because I just started with Apple. I've been with us since I started. But we just moving into the subscription part to where once we film, then running through edit and everything, then we'll post a few weeks out. I don't even want to go past 2 weeks um with posting for the people that's purchasing the subscription. I want to go ahead and merge into that. But I think other than that, we run through
Are you using
maybe
Captivate to upload to the different platforms or it's just
you
Riverside?
know, I use Spreaker and RSS.com.
Okay.
Yeah, I use those two. Spreaker is for me, if you're listening and you are interested in be really really selective with what you do. RSS.com has really really amazing benefits, but Spreaker on the other hand is more advanced and it gives you so much more when it comes to if you're looking to be monetized, if you looking to run publishing, if you want a more broad view. I don't think you would my goal was to reach other countries. I didn't think it would be that many. I ran through Spreaker and I ran through RSS.com. Spreaker, you get monetized quicker, but RSSfeed.com, it pushes you further and further out to so many other people. When you know what hashtags to use, um, when you know what time to post, what days you film on, and all of that kind of stuff. All of that is stuff that you'll be able to get through the course that we are providing. I see you. She do design flyers, streaming, everything that you need. Like if you're one of those people that's trying to move forward with being monetized or looking to market and promote, I would definitely suggest you check her out on Facebook and IG and LinkedIn. Thank you.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Check, please. You will not be upset. It's always good to know because you always have to pay for what you don't know. You always have to pay for what you don't know. So if you're gonna do that, do it with somebody that can educate you and put you in a direction to where you will be the person that's being paid to tell people, not even just about the payment part, but that's a part of what we do. That's a part of why we're in this business. So just make sure that you have your plan, you have your goal, uh, and you know what direction that you want to go. You could find people, communities, and social events that you could go to or attend. But make sure that I hope you can just DM, just ask the question. Simple question can put you in the right direction.
Yes,
You
it
have
can.
anything else you want to share before we go?
Oh no, this has been amazing. Thank you so much. And thank
Thank
you to
you.
everybody who's listened until this point. We appreciate you.
Yes.
And I say connect, follow, support, leave a review. I mean, this is a lot. You shouldn't be saying all this, but he will probably tell you what he wants. But I would say show support and love to Flex. What does that look like to you?
Yeah.
If it's leaving a review, leave a review. If it's sharing this with a friend, share with a friend. If it means that you start following the podcast, that's what you do. But do show love.
Yes, I appreciate that. And to my listeners all over the world, wherever you are, whatever country, whatever region, whatever state, whatever city you're in, if you're riding in your car, if you're sitting in your home, I do see a lot of people stream off the web right now. Like that's my biggest in my analytics, that's the biggest thing. I had no idea that so many people. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. And to my people, listen, China, thank you. My heart is on explode. Not no, forgive me, God. I don't explode. I don't want to. My heart is overjoyed for you guys streaming the radio station that's streaming. I'm so touched right now. To every country outside of the United States, it is so beautiful to see us to be able to connect and y'all listen to these amazing guests that's on this show. Thank you so much. To my people, to my family, my friends, thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for sharing. Thank y'all for streaming. I appreciate it. We can't get nowhere without that. If ain't nobody sharing, if ain't nobody listening, if ain't nobody just throwing it out there to other people, we can't get nowhere. So I appreciate you for joining us. Thank you for being in the Flex Zone. And I hope we get to link up here again in the future and get some more information out there that could help people. And
Absolutely.
we should be up and going within. If you want me to, I can go ahead and put it on Spotify.
I don't want to change your process. Like I said, some of the guests I've had that I was a guest on some of the shows,
Yeah,
they said August, and I was like, oh, okay, then I can't talk about this. But since you said it's going to be just a few hours, no problem.
yeah, we're going right on over. I know within the next 10 hours, because I do have some more editing to do on another project, and while they are doing whatever they do and getting the whole set up, I like to transform it into the. It won't look like this when you see it. There'll be a whole nother setup. So I appreciate y'all again at Riverside FM. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the editing team, and we will connect here in a little while. Once it's done and the editing is done, I send it to you so you can check it out. I think we do have to. I forgot to tell you at the beginning. Normally, I tell people this at the beginning, but I got to reveal my secret now. So, I think once we're done, we have to make you on a computer or a phone.
I am on a computer.
Awesome. So we have to just wait till it's done uploading. You're on a computer, so it'll be done instantly. And I
Yes, it's
appreciate you.
99%. So
Oh yeah. Oh, we are almost there. So I'll be contacting you and sending it to you before we post and everything. Let you check it out, and then we'll go from there.
absolutely. Thank you again.
Thank you for being in the Flex Zone.